Hi, hello everyone. This is Pookie Boo with Fat Fitness for another Just for Today. Today is the October 28th, and we are going to be doing the Just for Today for October 28th. If you don't know what the Just for Todays are, they are daily meditations for the active or recovering, sorry. Um, my brain is not with it today. I honestly was going to skip doing this today, but I kind of have to keep myself accountable at this point. Um, so, just for today's our daily meditations for the recovering alcoholic, the recovering addict at whatever stage they're at. You read this meditation and you think on it. And the whole entire thing with Just for Today is that a lot of times when you are faced with like the constant nagging need for your drug of choice, and it gets really annoying very quickly, but it also becomes overpowering, and you can't, if you don't use your tools that you have at your disposal, you're going to go back to your drug of choice. Um, Today has just been a not a great day for me, but I'm here. So I'm going to post the Just for Today in the chat. Feel free to please continue the conversation after I'm gone. I'm not going to stay on for very long. I'm not feeling so great. Um, Mental health is not so great. All right, let's get started. So that's the Just for Today. I don't understand how to make it smaller. I wish I could. Or maybe like find a way of getting that all on the screen somehow. But either way, I'm going to read it out loud. So, October 28th. We can also use the steps to improve our attitudes. Ever have a day when everything seems to be working against you? Do you go through periods when you are so busy taking people's inventories that you can barely stand yourself? What about when you find yourself snapping at a worker or a loved one for no reason? When we find ourselves in this bleak frame of mind, we need to take action. At any point in the day, we can set aside a few moments and take a spot inventory. We examine how we are reacting to outside situations and other people. When we do, we find that we are suffering from a plain old bad attitude. A negative outlook can hurt our relationship with our higher power and the people in our lives. When we are honest with ourselves, we frequently find that the problem lies with us and our attitude. We have no control over the challenges life gives us. What we can control is how we react to those challenges. At any point in time, we can change our attitude. The only thing that really changes is Narcotics Anonymous is us. The 12 steps give us the tools to move out of the problem into the solution. So just for today, throughout the day, I will check my attitude. I will apply the steps to improve it. So this has a lot actually to do with what I'm dealing with today. It's like I woke up late and I was really late to something that's actually pretty detrimental to my health, and I'm kind of really kicking myself in the ass for it. And now I'm here doing the Just for Today that I also don't want to do. Um, but I said I would do this thing, so now I'm here doing said thing. Um, so, in short, I have a bad attitude today. Um, so it's like, as much as you can check yourself on your bad attitude, you can only do so much about a bad attitude. Like, you can always try to be a better person in front of other people and all this other stuff, but it's like at the end of the day, it's human to have funks It's human to be upset about not doing the things you promised yourself you were going to do. It's upsetting when you let other people down. And it's okay, in my personal opinion, and I hope so in yours as well, that it's okay to feel things. Like, because I know a lot of us, and me included, especially, like, that was my biggest thing. Like, our drug of choice, like, made us temporarily forget about our pain and trauma and what we were going through, and we basically doused it in whatever substance would make the bad feelings go away. But they didn't really go away, you just shoved them deep, deep down in there. And you never actually get rid of them. Well, actually, you don't ever get rid of them. They're feelings, you're supposed to feel them. And it's really hard sometimes because sometimes the feelings are not so great. But to be able to feel the good feelings, you have to feel the bad ones too. You can't have one or the other. It's like the perfect balance of things. But that's just my personal opinion. I'd love to hear yours. I'm like I said, I'm not so great doing so great today, so I'm not exactly like the happiest go lucky person to be around right now. It's like all I want to do is eat chips and watch my TV and not do any kind of work, even though I literally have no income right now. That's just how I feel. I mean, I can't do that because that's not what I set out to do here. And it's funny with these just for today things. They always say have the thing that you are most worried about during that point of time, which is funny to say the least because it seems like we all just go in the same cycles during the same time of year. So let's see. Do you do you go through periods when you are so busy taking care of taking people's inventories that you can barely stand yourself? Yeah, it's like. By the way, I don't know how to say inventory or inventory. I don't know exactly how that is supposed to be said in the English language. It's like I used to be so good at English and shit like that in school, but nowadays, like, that's another fun fact about addictive substances, especially alcohol, to all the people listening, if you ever do listen, that don't consume alcohol or do consume alcohol and you're not an alcoholic, because either way, it's still really bad for you. Like, it's actual literal poison. You are poisoning yourself just a little bit. But it's like, it only becomes like super, super bad for you when you're doing it constantly, which is what that brings you into being an alcoholic. And it fucks up your brain. It fucks up like receptors in your brain. It's just like if you had mental illness to begin with, you just made it 10 times worse because you like fried some shit in there. So now even the shit that did work before now doesn't. So it's like once you like want to catch yourself in these behaviors before you get to the point where you're doing the substances. And I mean, that's only if you're at that point. I mean, it's like, if you're already past that point, then it's like, say la vie, fuck it. That's just kind of how you have to deal with it now. That's what you are. Like, I fucked up my brain receptors, so now we gotta go and work with those equipment. That's the equipment I got now. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like, it's not the end of the world. It just sucks because it's like sometimes your brain gets fuzzy and it's hard to pay attention. It's like something, it's like I don't know all the scienciness behind it. I'm not a scientist, nor do I claim to be. All I know is that I have mental illness. I have addiction. I know people who have mental illness and addiction. I worked in a field where I dealt with people with mental health issues and also cognitive behavior issues. Which, if you don't know what cognitive behavioral issues are, that's like a whole nother level to mental health. It's what fun like is fundamentally you and your brain. Your brain cognitively works the way it works, but you can improve those things. Like if you have a hard time paying attention to something, you have to slow yourself down enough so that you can focus on said thing. And sometimes you have to make boundaries and other things to make that happen for you. And it's not a bad thing to do that. Like a lot of people make it seem like it's bad to do that. It's a really good thing to have boundaries. It's a good thing to keep yourself as comfortable and nice in your skin as you possibly want to be. Me personally, I don't like to be comfortable. It makes me feel weird. So it's like I'm always trying to do something, the new best thing to improve my best self. Because once I start getting comfortable in something, I become unhappy with it over time. And that's just me personally. That's something I'm working on. I don't know if I need to fix it yet. I'm still kind of shadow working myself on that one. Because, it's like there's got to be a point in time where it's like you got to be like, okay, I'm doing pretty good now. Like I can just chill with this shadow work, maybe just live my life, the way it is. Um, Back to the just for today, the reason why I'm here, right? We examine how we are reacting to outside situations and other people. And by when they say like recognize those things, it's like they're not bad thing. Like you don't have to go in with the thought and the feelings of hatred towards yourself while you're doing it. Because I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with, like myself included, where it's just like when we see a negative trait about ourselves, we're like, oh my god, the end of the world. I snore. And it's just like everybody else is like, okay, you snore. So? And you're like, but you don't understand, I snore. For example. But and it's like that's why the beauty of talking to other people that have addiction, that's the beauty of it. Because it's like when you say some ridiculous ass shit like that, people will check you real quick. Like, um, today I was just like to my man, I was just like, I'm not doing the just for today. Like, ain't nobody watches this shit. Like, what the fuck? Who the hell cares? And he was just like, you said that you were going to do it. That's what matters. It's just like, yeah, but I don't want to. And he's just like, yeah, but you said you were going to do it. And you told me to not let you do that. And I'm like, well, fuck. Past me is really just biting my ass today, ain't she? But it's just that's checking yourself. It's okay to be like, okay, I thought I was this, or I was not feeling great, so I didn't do this. Like, no matter what you do with your life, it's still going to be all the much better for you as long as you're always trying to improve. And I know I'm kind of like going flip floppy with this, but it's just like, I'm not an expert. I'm just some chick online, like, that has a shit ton of trauma that's been figuring shit out. And I kind of wanted to also like put myself out there, and the fact that it's like most time I find a lot of internet personalities or a lot of like people we look up to are the type of people that you actually like, they don't show anything that they are saying that they endorse. Like, you say that you endorse mental health awareness or autism awareness or whatever have you awareness of whatever disease or difficulty that you're having in life, yet you never show anybody that you are having these issues. It's always some kind of interview or like just tweeting something or writing something, and it's just like nobody likes to show that they're having a mental health bad day. That's for actresses to act out, so we don't show that of our actual selves to show you exactly what that looks like. It's like you always see that dumbass commercial about the Zoloft with the fucking happy face, and it's the closest we've got to something actually representing our actual disease. Like, I have depression and anxiety, and I have addiction. And my days are not always great. My days are sometimes such hell that I don't know how I'm going to make it through the whole day. And people never see those things. Like, unless you see on some cop show, some fucking crazy bitch running down the street with no shirt on. You know, it's like, just because you're never, it's like you have to be one of two extremes. And I feel like that's so fake and phony. It's like we're always trying to cover up the fact that we're not always pretty and gorgeous and well put together or wealthy or something non-negative that we put out there for the world to see. And it's just like, why can't the world see the ugly? Like the things that we consider ugly are like war crimes and murder scenes and buildings falling down, or like, these are the bad things that we hear about in the news, and we figure that if it's not newsworthy, then it's not worth worrying about. And it's just like thousands of people are suffering through the same thing I am. The same exact fucking thing. Thank you, Kraken. I agree completely. Like, they don't show the struggle. The struggle is real, man. I agree, and I'm actually very much afraid talking about this, especially on a live stream. It's not like I'm an internet personality here. Like, I'm just some chick, you know? And it's just, it's very upsetting. But I am glad to have you here, Craig, and you're my first person to talk to me in my chat. So that made my day, especially since I didn't want to do this in the first place. Um, but I do like that we have things like the Just for Today to help us with these struggles, even if they are not always put out there for people to see. Like, I'm having a really hard time concentrating right now. I want to just lay in bed. I want to cry all day. I want to eat, but I don't want to eat. Like, my hands and my whole body are shaking constantly because of my extreme anxiety. I go through manic periods where I clean everything. I go through depressive points in time where it's like I barely want to shower. It's like, thank God I have beautiful skin, because if like people knew how much I don't want to shower. That's really, really brave of you, Kraken, because there's not a lot of people that go out of their way to like talk about their depression. And for something that's so prominent in our society, you would think that would be way more accepted to not want to attack the people that have mental illness. Yeah, I get you, Kraken. Like, I'm in it right now. It's like I it's like I started taking sleeping pills now because I had night terrors for the last week. I went on a whole manic episode on Tumblr and wrote a giant tumble journal entry once I figured out that that was a thing. And it's just like, we always make fun of those people that are like, just being over emotional on social media and such. But it's just like, if everybody just treated everybody with a little bit more kindness on a normal level, I feel like we would all just be so much better for it. Like, don't you hate being hateful all the time? Like, how does that make anybody feel better at the end of the day? Like, it feels good to like, and it sucks too, because it's like when you start being too nice and you like open yourself up, that's when somebody says something really, really fucking hateful to you, hurts your damn feelings, and now you're just like, well, damn, maybe I should just be meaner. It's like, what kind of ass backwards shit is that? But yeah, um, I don't really have much else to say on the matter. Like, just not feeling great. I mean, I'm staying away from the alcohol, so there's that at least. Yeah, and like, I'm past that point at least, where it's like my immediate thought is that every time I'm sad, I'm actually looking into the medication weed thing. Because I mean, that's also another weird thing with AA and NA, and it's like there's always weird gatekeepers in every community. It's just like there's a lot of people where they're recovering alcoholics, and they have like AA meetings when you go to an AA meeting, and they're all different. They all have their own cliques, and it's all like just a lot of high school bullshit. And a lot of them will be like, well, if you smoke weed, then you're not clean, so therefore you are still not recovering. And it's just like, I find that so funny, because it's like, where do you draw the line with medication at that point then? It's like, oh, you took Tylenol today. You're not clean. It's like, that's actually ridiculous. It's just like, so in my personal opinion, when I like think of like things that are addictive, um, I think of it more so like, if it becomes to a point where you want it way too much, then that's kind of when you know you have a problem. Like if you could, like if somebody like offered it to you, could you say no? It's like, and it's kind of scary for me with the weed thing because it's like, I like drugs a little bit too much. Like when people give me drugs, I want to do them and I want to do a lot of them. So it's a scary iffy thing for me to try to look into the weed thing. Though I do see, and Adderall is also super addictive to some people. And I'm just like, honestly, that's the thing I'm most afraid of with trying any medications is that it's like, is this the kind of thing that's going to help me? Or is it going to make me hopelessly addicted to the point where I'm now buying it on the streets and homeless? Like, and it really is actually like that small of a thing could be the tipping point in your life. And that's why I think if I find a lot of addicts that are afraid to try medications, it's like me as well. I'm afraid of trying medications. Like right now, my medications are it's like one's an antidepressant, one is for my anxiety, and then I also have a sleeping pill, but they're all generally not addictive things, but they can be if you're dependent on them. And I don't know at what point if I can ever get off of them or if I want to get off of them. It's such a big rabbit hole to go down. Yeah, no, the sleeping pill's recent actually because of the night terrors. Like I actually was going through a really rough time, like because so my whole entire story was starting these just for today is that it's like I wanted to make this as a part of my channel. I'm starting a health and fitness channel based solely on doing Zumba and yoga workouts that are like made for people that are heavier. Like it is a like they're low impact, they're not a lot of high kicks, shit like that. Stuff that like bigger people can do. Because I always found that when I was fatter before I had the bariatric surgery, that it's like all these beginner courses weren't beginner courses whatsoever. They were for people who were already into fitness. Like I want to make a program for basically bariatric patients because that's where I started my weight loss journey and I wanted to help bring something more mainstream to the actual surgery that's super important for a lot of us. I do not regret it whatsoever. My surgery was a life send. It saved my life. And then I also was just like, well, I'm an addict, and addict also has like addictive tendencies has a lot to do with food because honestly, a lot of people that are addicts are people that like their first addiction usually is food. It's usually sugar. Hi, Mr. Kodo. Um, but yeah, I know, because that's the other thing too. It's like these people are so willing to like shove you on some medication without even knowing fully what it does. Like you have to do your own research on every medication they prescribe to you because it's like a lot of times they don't even know the exact way it works with other medication because psych meds are so new. Like don't get me wrong, I am 10 times better off than I was before medication, but I was I'm still not like 100%. So, I do the Just for Todays, which are daily meditations for the addict. It's this book. That's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about more so like the scariness of trying new psych meds and stuff, and how it's just like it's hard to tell like if you need medication, if you don't need medication, and it's just like this giant rabbit hole that you go through every time you even like open up Pandora's box a little bit on that one. And so yeah, and also like first addictions that I thought personally, I feel like most addicts are, their first addiction is food. So it's like I kind of wanted to make my channel based on being an addict as well as focusing your addict behavior on weight loss and fitness more so than your active addiction, because that's what helped me personally. I work out like a motherfucker, and sometimes that's actually a problem too. It's like you got to be very careful because you will injure yourself, and that happens quite frequently. So yeah. Um, but it was nice talking to you guys. It's the end of my live stream, though. You can come and find me back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. I will do these at 7 p.m. every day, except for Saturday and Sunday, which I will be doing those at 1 p.m. So please join me back for more discussions on the Just for Today. I want to figure out how to put the actual like Just for Today text on the screen somewhere, but I'm not very high tech, so I have to ask a couple of people, and maybe one day it'll all be awesome and I'll have that up for you so that we could actually discuss that more. All right, good night, guys. Thank you for watching.